for sticking with us on Civic Affairs. Andy Martins and Alex Barr live from the Superior Media Studios. And our next guest is a good friend, John Bruno, who's a candidate for councillor in Ward 3. John, tell us your background and why you're running for council in Ward 3.
Thank you for the opportunity to come this evening, and I really enjoy that you have given me. Basically, I'd like to start off, I've been an educator for many, many years. I started as a teacher. I lived in the West End, grew up, child of immigrant family, and things were tough as we were growing up. Went to school, education was stressed immensely, so that's what we would continue to do, and go to school, became a teacher, and throughout my career, paid attention to my career and became a principal and superintendent, and certainly enjoyed every minute of the children were fantastic, and my passion for children and the community were immense at that point. I also was involved a little bit in politics way back, and so my passion never died. I just kind of put it aside, and I think with my retirement coming in June 30th, I said, here's my opportunity, because the next election was in October. And certainly, I'm a firm believer, if you need some change in the community or any time, you need to get involved. And I think that's what I've done all my life. Also, I worked at the steel plant as I was going through. In '82, things were pretty rough in the city as they are, throughout the last 20 years. I worked at Algoma Steel in No. 2 shop in the Mill Yard. People like Jim Marinelli and Art Galazzi and all of those people really helped me as a young man to get some summer jobs and work. And you know what? They were good days, because it gave me the opportunity to go to school. It made me earn some money during the summertime, because things were rough. And going through all of those stages in life, you build a lot of character. You build a lot of how do you call it? You get to meet people, and you get to see their passion. And Sault Ste. Marie's always been what I've loved, because Sault Ste. Marie has afforded me a very good life, and I want to give back now. Now that I'm got some time, I want to give back, because they've been so good to me, and we live in a fantastic city. And you know what? We have to tell people that we live in a fantastic city, and we want to make it better. And I think we can make it better, and I really look forward to that next step.
I mean, the first thing that you've done after announcing your retirement is just trying to get another job. So I think that speaks volumes about his passion, like he's saying here. So, and a lot of people are quick to judge the last 4 years of council and the mayor and the things that they've done. Do you have a quick evaluation you'd like to give on the last 4 years and how things have moved along?
Okay, I will have a little bit of fun now, because as an educator, we give out report cards. So right. You know what?
Playing the role of opposition. Yeah.
Absolutely. If I was to score them, we need improvement. There is a slot in the report cards that says needs improvement. And it does need improvement, because if I didn't, I wouldn't be running. And you know what? I would be happy with the people that would be running. But I think I can give something to the community. And what are some of those things that need improvement? Well, number one, I want to give back, as I mentioned to you in my background. Number two, taxes. Taxes are through the roof everywhere, and everybody that I talk to, why do we have to pay so much? And those things are there. Having been at the board, managed a $70 million, not myself, but worked with it as a superintendent. So we have to look at that with even more of a fine-tooth comb, so that we can see what are some of those areas. We have to look at other cities too, to see what best practices there are. To see, I went on a little trip just a couple of weeks ago to Petoskey, Charlevoix area, small cities, but the people and the economy were just booming there as well. What are some of those things that are happening there that we could take notice? Yes, we've been doing lots of resolutions, but sometimes we even curtail some of those resolutions by saying, we don't want to hear about certain things, or we don't want to talk about certain things. Again, we're here. We have to be transparent. We have to talk about those things. And the more ideas that are put on the table, the more we have to play with. When I say play with, the more we can entertain to see what we can do that would help our city and our economy.
Right. And talking is going to be the most important part, like you said. So I hope you're ready to do some more after a quick break. We'll be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We're live on TV. Alex Barr, Andy Martins, the best in local television, where we'll have all candidates running for mayor and council on this show between now and October 22nd. Welcome back, John Bruno. You talked before the break that change is needed. Your experience as an educator, how can you compare education and politics? And given that, what will your message be at the door in Ward 3 in a general basis? You don't want to give away your platform, but I think as an educator, you can make it better in politics. What are some of the things that you will be able to tell the voters in Ward 3?
One of the main things in education and politics, and you know what, we're always looking at best practices from an education perspective. We always go down to professional development and certainly look at different things and keep up to date, because you know, teaching and politics, there's always things going on. As you can see, our world of tweeting, politics in the United States and Canada, it's growing and growing. So you know, that comparison between education and politics is alive and well. Going door to door, my message is going to be about taxes, and certainly one of the things that I want to talk about is our community businesses. Just something with SR, we've talked about taxes, and you know, I'm really worried. I haven't heard there was a lot of businesses that didn't get paid through that whole process of CCAA recovery, and you know, again, we just don't know very much to kind of comment on that. And if we're trying to bring down our taxes, we need to know how our major employer paid for theirs or didn't pay for them, and we need to start somewhere and look into that. Also, the resolutions, as I mentioned to you before, there's 444 cities, and correct me if I'm wrong there, but that we can take a look at. And just like I used to go to Toronto and Sudbury and all the where the PD was, we should be going to, again, to different cities and seeing some of those things that are happening in those cities. And there's forums for that as well, PD forums that can help us get there. Also, we cut $400,000 from the EDC. And you know what? We're talking about jobs and jobs and jobs. So again, we need to look at why that happened. You know, how can we make that better, and how can we deploy that money so that we can make a difference in Sault Ste. Marie? Again, our city is the best city to live in, but we need our young people. Part of my motivation is that those young people that I saw grow up in education come back to Sault Ste. Marie, because there comes a vibrancy that comes with that, and having our children leave home. Too many times I've heard parents say, well, I'm going to Toronto, my kids are in Toronto and they're working hard, and you know, they got great opportunity, but I would like to have them home once in a while too. So you can see that they're a little disappointed that some of them had to leave, and if we can make our city attractive so that they can come back with good paying jobs and all of those kinds of things, then we need to go there.
And speaking on jobs, what do you think that the mayor or council can do going forward to kind of retain jobs here, or to just better the conditions for employment?
Well, I think we have to start attracting some businesses here. I think they're trying, and I know that they have been looking at some just recently. Again, sometimes I feel that it's in the detail that we need to kind of look at, you know, continuing the progress and going after them. If there's something that I learned, is that if you want something, you have to go for it. You can't wait. You can't sit back and saying, let's wait for the phone call to come in. You got to be at their door. I've seen some educators do that. I mean, they fire up to Queen's Park and they just go knock on doors, and you know what? I need to talk to you. We have a situation and we need to talk. Again, that's just a parallel, but we need to put forth. And I think with my experience, my leadership and the role that I've created over my years, I think I have that in me to kind of move forward in that direction so that we can open some doors. And again, it's hard slugging. It's nothing, firm and committed that somebody does this and you get this. But we have to continue to sell our
You made
our
some
community.
great points, John. You can't really do too much if your tax rates are highest in the province, and that kind of chokes businesses. How would Sault Ste. Marie look at, with John Bruno as councillor 4 years from now? How can you envision that we would look compared to what we are today?
Well, I think, again, I'll speak about my experience, and how will I look there? I will question. I want transparency and all the things that were there. I also, on my flyer, put down experience, leadership, and integrity. I think we need to have that transparency so that our community and the citizens that I'm going to work for are satisfied with some of the answers that they receive. And being transparent is the number one thing. In all of my experience, we can't have a small group of people always moving things forward. Everybody has to be part of that. And I think we need our citizens have to have input into everything that we do, because if we don't, then it becomes very short-sighted and very short-term, some of the solutions that we come up to. And again, we want short-term and long-term solutions.
Well, John, thank you so much for coming on. We really appreciate your time, and I'm sure you're going to be in these studios many, many times before that October 22nd. And if you're giving out handshakes, I'm going to take one too. So, John, thank you so much for coming on. Thank you for staying tuned, but don't go anywhere. We have one more guest for you.